Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Apologies to the public. The last couple of meetings, we've had some tech problems, and we have a new system today, so hopefully it's going to work. So bear with all of us. On behalf of the board, I would like to express sincere condolences to Evelyn Trainer and her family on the loss of Jack, a longtime counselor, community organizer, police service board member, and just a really, really nice man. And he will be missed. I don't think I ever saw Jack without a smile on his face or being such a welcoming person for people to the town. We have a new OAPSB director, Jenny. I don't know if you know what that acronym means, but it's the Ontario Association of Police Service Boards. And our new director is Lisa Darling, a longtime member of the OPP. And Lisa certainly has big shoes to fill. Fred Koskinen has gone on to one of the services around Toronto and was certainly an excellent person. The the association is hosting a Special Olympics barbecue on Wednesday, May the 4th, from 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock in the garage. So all board members are welcome to attend. Any of you that would like to help cook, you can let Aaron know. I did forward, at least Janice did, I let people know about the article in the Citizen that quoted Linda Dukesbury, a professor at Carleton, about who would want to be a cop. And Janice did forward the link to you. This was some weeks ago, but I really felt that as board members, it was important for us to read how in her research, she's finding police are being viewed from being racist to bullies to should be defunded. And I had a discussion with someone about defunding, and I said, what would have happened in the Freedom Convoy in Ottawa if the Ottawa police had been defunded? As it was, they had to call in extra resources. So if you haven't read it, I would highly recommend that you do. Chief, you wanted to say something?
I did, just to add into your remarks, Madam Chair. I just wanted to add it was a nice story about one of our officers recently, and it's deals with Constable Lindsay LeMay. And we had an investigation, a lady or a young girl and her mother, but the young girl had her wallet stolen. Staff Sergeant Empey can correct me. I'm not sure how old the young girl was, 9 or 10 years old. And so sorry, 7. Thank you, 7 years old. She had her wallet stolen, and this was very devastating for this young 7-year-old. Fortunately, through good investigation by Constable LeMay, we were able to capture this theft on video, and it led to an arrest of the individual after the fact. Unfortunately, the wallet was not recovered, but the Constable LeMay went out on her own and bought a wallet for this young 7-year-old and brought it to her residence and presented it to her with a lucky $20 bill in the wallet to start her out. She did this all completely on her own. It was brought to my attention after the fact, and I just thought it was a very worthy story. Just speaks volumes to our officers on the road.
It does. And please express our thanks to Constable LeMay. Just another great example of community policing.
It was. Thank you.
I'm going to read the land acknowledgement. On this day, April 28th, 2022, we acknowledge that this sacred land on which Smith Falls is now located has been a site of human activity for over 10,000 years and is rich in Indigenous history. This land is the ancestral and unceded territory of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe Nation. We are grateful to the Algonquin ancestors who cared for the land and water in order that we might meet here today. We are also grateful to the Algonquin people for their contribution in the making of the Rideau Canal, which runs through Smith Falls. We are mindful of broken covenants and the need to reconcile with all our relations. Together, may we care for this land and each other, drawing on the strength of our mutual history of nature building through peace and friendship, being mindful of generations to come. I have two additions to the agenda under new business. The first is the AMO policy update, the NG 911, and the All Chiefs Police Service Board members and elections. And I also received something from OAPSB and the ministry, so we will discuss that under new business. Anyone else? Chief, do you have anything to add?
I do not.
Okay. Any declaration of interest? Not hearing any. A motion to move in camera, please. Chris Babcock and Jen Onger, all in favor? Okay.
All right, and we'll move into camera now. And it looks like we're back in session now, Chair Hellman. Oh, just your mic.
We're getting there. Good morning, David Tilley.
Hello, Madam Chair. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. It's nice to see you. It's been a long time.
It has, yeah. Feels like it.
May I ask you a question? What
Yep.
color socks do you have on today?
What colour what?
Socks do you have on today?
I'm plain black today, I'm
Oh,
afraid.
no, I'm disappointed. You were always the one with the colorful socks.
I know. I've got less imaginative through COVID, I'm afraid.
Oh, well. Well, welcome back. It's been a while. It's a pleasure to see you. We've missed our conversations.
Yes.
All right, I'll do the rise and report, and then we have some motions to do. The board accepts the chief's report on human resources and staffing updates. Further, the board has accepted the notices of retirement from clerk dispatcher Lenora Willows, effective May 31st, 2022, and administrative assistant Janice Tomlinson, effective August 31st, 2022. The board authorizes the chief to fill the clerk dispatch position with one of the current part-time staff. The board authorizes the chief to hire a part-time clerk dispatcher in addition to the one being currently advertised. The administrative assistant position will be filled until the end of the year with part-time staffing. The deputy chief of police position will be filled in the coming months through an internal process. An announcement will be made in the coming months. The board reviewed and accepted the annual evaluation for the chief of police. So the first motion is for the full-time clerk dispatcher position. So I'll read the motion and then ask for a mover and a seconder. That the Smith Falls Police Services Board supports the chief's recommendation to fill the full-time clerk dispatcher position with one of the current part-time members. And further, that the Smith Falls Police Services Board supports the hiring of a part-time clerk dispatcher in addition to the one currently advertised. So may I have someone move the motion, please? Jen has moved. Seconder? Sean, all in favor? The second one is that the Smith Falls Police Services Board supports the chief's recommendation to fill the position of administrative assistant until the end of 2022 with part-time staffing. Mover, please. Chris Babcock, second. Chris McGuire, all in favor? Thank you. And the next motion, that the Smith Falls Police Services Board will fill the position of Deputy Chief of Police through an internal process within the coming months. Someone move it, please. Jen and Chris Babcock, all in favor? And I believe we need a motion to accept the chief's annual evaluation. Can I have someone make that motion? I didn't sign them yet. Chris Babcock, second. Jenny, all in favor? Thank you. Janice kindly circulated quite a bit of correspondence. I've already addressed the executive director announcement, Diane Smithson with the Zone 2. AMO policy update is under new business, and the police service board members and the election is under new business as well. So minutes from the previous meeting, March the 31st. Everyone is read. Motion, Sean, thank you. Seconder. Chris McGuire, thank you. All in favor? Good. Business arising. David, I'll have you bring us an update at the beginning of the new business, if that's okay with you. Okay, Chief.
Sorry, and thank you. Welcome Dave Tilley, our ministry advisor for our zone, filling in for Graham Witt. Good to see you again, and thank you for participating in our meeting here today. Just with regards to business arising, the first item is our 2021 final budget update. And I really don't have anything. It's still on the agenda, as we have not received from the town the final audited budget for 2021. I expect it to be very soon. And once we receive that, there hasn't been any issues that I've been made aware of. Once we receive that final budget, it'll be brought to the board to adopt as a final budget for the year. Subject to any questions? No. The second item is the 2022 budget update. And I'm happy to report, although we don't get official budget monitors yet in the year from the town, I do monitor through the town's assist program that we have access to, as far as to monitor some of the main lines, both operations and capital, for the budget, to see if there's any spikes, any anomalies, any issues with that. So I certainly some of the different areas that I look at before we get our first monitors are obviously our salaries line, our overtime line, our part-time wages. I look at some of the things obviously right now, and leading into the future, IT is a big part, so I keep an eye on those lines, as well as then any maintenance and repairs done with our complex. Certainly our vehicle fleet maintenance, and the rising costs of fuel these days, keeping an eye on those lines to make sure that we're staying on target. And I am happy to report that the budget is progressing well so far, into the beyond the first quarter, into the first third of the year. Subject to any questions that the board may have regarding the budget so far. I know you don't have anything in front of you, but if you have any questions.
Any questions? Okay, thank you.
All right.
Great.
On grant updates, I am happy to say we've had good news in a number of our grants. We've been very successful in the last couple of years with grant funding. I am happy to say that our what used to be, or what's seen in our police budget as our special police grant, which is a grant that we've received year after year for a number of years. It was renamed a couple of years ago as the Community Safety and Policing grant, the local stream. There's a local stream and a provincial stream. In that grant line, we've received approximately $48,000 a year for the last 3 years. I'm happy to say that we just have our agreement now for the moving into the next 3 years. That amount has increased from $48,000 to $61,000 per year for the next 3 years. So that's good news, and that helps fund basically our community services officer position, as well as enhances the position for with the mobile crisis response team as well, and his role there. The provincial, the CSP provincial stream, I'm happy to say that we were successful in that one. We had not in previous years, the allocation and the requirements for that stream were sort of more geared, if you will, in my mind, to larger police services, and we're not always something that we fell into eligibility to apply for. This past grant stream, we were able to apply for the provincial stream. We did receive acknowledgement that we were successful, and that's moving forward for the next 3 years, and that's grant funding that will take us, it's approximately $65,000 split up over the next 3 years, dealing with training and equipment, dealing with human trafficking, hate crime, and critical incident management. And that also includes some public education campaigns and whatnot within those areas as well. Our victim support grant that we were successful with our local victim services. And in that grant, and that was, we pledged our support to victim services, and they put in for that grant, and we were successful with that. And as a result, we were able to obtain an offsite place for interviewing victims within victim services, but as well, we were able to enhance and put new equipment and set up a new interview room here for victims and witnesses here at the police station. So it was good for us in updating new technology, new equipment, and new furniture for our victim interview room. So that's a good one. In addition, as I had already indicated to the board, we were successful with our mobile crisis response team enhancement grant over the next 2 years with $141,000. And I'm also pleased to say that we just received, and it came through AMO with regards to Next Generation 911, and that the province has announced its pledge to municipalities of about $208 million over the next 3 years to assist municipalities with the transformation to Next Generation 911 call answering. As we know, Next Generation 911 is a municipal responsibility as it covers both fire and police. And so it's going with that. Obviously, fire and police need to make some changes and some upgrades that we've been planning for, and we have been putting money aside for. So this will certainly be a welcome announcement, and look forward to seeing how that's going to unfold as we move forward with Next Generation 911. And all of that, in addition, our annual other grants that we get on an annual basis, our RIDE grant, our prisoner transportation and court security grant, as well as our Criminal Intelligence Services Ontario grant. So very pleased that we've done a lot of work with our staff here, as well as with the person that we use to help assist in writing these grants. We've been very successful in all of these grants, which really assist in offsetting the cost of policing and our operations. So that's we continue to monitor and examine all of those grant opportunities and bring those forward.
Any
Any questions with regards to the grants? Perfect.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, new business. David, we'll give you the floor.
Thank you very much, and good morning to all of you. It's nice to be back on, even though it's online in Smith Falls. For those of you I haven't met before, I'm Dave Tilley, and I'm a policing advisor with the Solicitor General. Previously was assigned to Zone 2 for nearly 5 years now, and then I got moved down to Southwest Ontario, where I'm currently the advisor. But Graham has taken some well-earned vacation, so I'm into the hot seat for this one. I haven't really got too much to update on from a provincial standpoint. Obviously, the provincial election is looming, so the writ period will drop sometime next week. I think I've heard May the 3rd will be the day. So at that point, the government does go into an almost like a caretaker type role. So no major decisions or anything will be being made now until post-election. In terms of what that means, the Community Safety Policing Act obviously will now not obviously be enforced till sometime post-election. The timelines for that obviously will be decided by whatever government is in place post-election. In terms of what that timing will look like, again, that's now going to be determined. There are still a number of regulations that will need to be drafted and approved to ensure that that piece of legislation can become enforced. The ministry has obviously so far just committed that this obviously won't be a overnight kind of proclamation, so there will be time once it's announced of an enforced date for a transition period for obviously boards and services to adapt to that new legislation once it's in place. In terms of grants, the chief obviously went through and most of those. The only one that I would highlight is the automated license plate recognition technology grant. So in February, the government announced the elimination of the license plates renewal fees and the requirement to have the sticker on your license plate. So to assist police with the tools needed to continue kind of enforcement, there is a $42 million grant that will allow municipal police services and the OPP to purchase some of that technology. The ministry is in the process of currently developing that grant program, and that the call for applications is due out anytime now, really. So you'll probably see an all chiefs on that if one hasn't already come out that I've missed. Other than that, I believe your provincial board members, their what do I say, OICs don't expire for a while, so they're not like to get any kind of temporary letters or anything whilst the writ period's in place. So that's really all I've got at the moment. Like I said, we're kind of in a holding pattern at the moment.
Thanks.
And if I can just comment on Dave's the announcement with the ALPR grant. It did just come out yesterday. So there wasn't all chiefs that just came out yesterday. I did have to, there was a survey that came out from the ministry a little while back that asked chiefs to respond with regards to what we currently had and what we would be looking for moving in, if the government was going to fund that, and so I did submit that survey. We did receive the all chiefs yesterday. Our municipality was given an allocation amount. I guess they've worked, I guess, with the survey results and to give a specific allocation amount, and our allocation amount is just under $80,000. So we will be making application for that grant funding for additional. We have one ALPR system. The allocation that we have will probably allow us, hopefully, if we're successful, to get 2 more ALPR systems on 2 more marked patrol vehicles.
Okay. Sean, did I see your hand up?
Yes. Thanks, David, and great to see you back, even if it's just for one meeting. I've read some media reports recently of police services in Quebec ticketing Ontario vehicles that have expired validations on their plate. And do you know any communication going on between Ontario and other provinces when it relates to this issue?
I haven't, no, and that's the first I've heard of it, but that would be something that we would have to address through, it'll be MTO, right, because they share that database information with other provinces and states. So I'll make a note of it and see if I can find out anything, but I must admit I haven't seen any official communication or anything, but I'll certainly look into it.
Okay, thank you.
If I can on that, and I know that there's been indication, there has been talk through the Ontario Association of Chiefs with regards to, and one of the reminders to people is, although there's no longer a sticker renewal, if you will, there is still a requirement for people to renew their license, their license plate. So there is still a renewal process. You still have to go online and maintain And that just assists in the ministry in knowing, obviously, that vehicles are still plated, that their vehicles are still current. So there is still going to be a process with that. There just won't be stickers that will come with that. So I'm not sure. I know I saw the same news item as well, I think, as the mayor did. The only thing I would suggest is there's a number of people that did not, during COVID, obviously there wasn't a need, and with MTO being closed, that people did not have to go in and renew their plates at that time. With that being lifted, and although people got reimbursements if they did go online and get their validation, and they were reimbursed for those, there were a number of people that never did take any action in renewing their plates. There is still a process. People would have to get in touch with MTO to see how that process works, but there is still a requirement to validate your plates. There just isn't a cost associated to it, and there won't be a sticker associated to it. And so that could well be where if a person went over to Quebec and has not done anything with their license for the last 2 years, they might find it to be expired and be subject to the Quebec traffic laws.
So I just have a question. If I'm not getting a new sticker for my license plate, how do you know it hasn't expired?
It would still be your birthday that you would still be required to
Okay.
And I don't know that MTO has really come out with the clear process, unfortunately. And that's why I would suggest to people to check with the MTO prior to their birthday, that there is still a process to renew, if you will, your validation without any cost and without any sticker coming.
I guess I wasn't very clear. I meant, how will the police know who's driving around with
That's
unvalidated?
And that's part of the reason, other than stopping a vehicle and running the vehicle, that's part of the reason why the province has come out with adding a more robust automated license plate reader system, is that it'll flag those vehicles and those people that have not that have been delinquent in getting their plates validated.
I noticed Staff Sergeant Empey said that we'll put up a link on the Facebook page for the public so that they can go and get some information. Thanks for that.
Perfect.
Okay. Any other questions for David? So I guess, Sean, would just stay out of Quebec for a little while, right? Okay. The next item, Chief, I guess you'll speak to it, is the AMO policy update on the NG 911. I don't know if you have anything more to add.
I don't have anything more to add to that, other than, like I said, it comes with the province announcing funding for that's going to, and that they haven't said, other than saying a large envelope of 208 million, how that's going to be distributed. It is going to be towards, I would assume, infrastructure for NG 911 systems. So we've been working as well with the fire department and with our IT, and with potential suppliers. There's very limited to who's in the game to provide NG 911 service. So it's not like there's a lot to work with. But we've been working to see what the system looks like from an infrastructure point of view and how it would be implemented, timelines. They've extended the time implementation in that policy to has gone from I believe the second quarter, or March 31st, 2024 to March 31st of 2025 is when the sort of drop dead date for traditional 911 moving to NG 911. So I am happy to say that we've done the right things over the last few years in putting money aside to pay for that infrastructure. So it'll certainly we'll wait to see what the ministry, what the province is going to assist with and offset those costs as well.
Okay, thank you. The next piece of correspondence, and I'm just going to read part of it. It's came out from Richard Stubbings, the Assistant Deputy Minister of the Public Safety Division, to police service concerning Police Service Board members and elections. And it came to chiefs of police, the OPP commissioner, and chairs of police service boards. The Ministry of the Solicitor General has received several queries regarding the responsibilities of police service board members running in the upcoming provincial or municipal elections in 2022. All members of a police services board should review Ontario Reg 421-97, Members of Police Services Board's Code of Conduct. The ministry advises that a board member should disclose to the Police Services Board their decision to be a candidate in the provincial or municipal elections as soon as possible. Board members appointed by Lieutenant Governor in Council are advised to also inform their respective ministry police services advisor as soon as possible. Board members who are candidates in the June 2022 provincial elections may wish to consider taking a leave of absence during the writ period if they feel that at any point they would be or have the potential to be in a real or perceived conflict of interest. A police services board may have its own rules and procedures related to the political activity of its board members that should be reviewed, including those developed in accordance with Section 37 of the Police Services Act. All board members appointed by LGIC intending to engage in political activity should also consider contacting their respective Ethics Executive Integrity Commissioner as soon as may be applicable. Should a board member appointed by LGIC be elected, the board member should consider notifying the ministry and the Police Services Board immediately to determine next steps. For any questions, please contact your respective police services advisor. And we do have on page 20 of our policy manual what's expected of board members. And it does mention that the election period commences on May 1st of the election year. So I'm just going to put that out there because we know that police during any campaign, police are always front and center. So David, I don't know if you wish to comment on that from your perspective.
Yeah, I would just suggest if, like I said, any board members review that code of conduct. I think it's specifically section 10, which effectively talks to you using your board position to advance your own position, and just review that and just, like I said, just ensure that you're in line with the code of conduct. Generally, over the years with municipal and provincial election, I haven't had too many cases where someone has had to stand down. It's just something to be mindful of in obviously doing your duties as a board member, just to be careful when things like campaigns and stuff are going on.
Would you suggest that the person going to run notify the board by letter so that we have a record of it?
Yeah, I mean, because if nothing else, it just ensures that any conflicts of interest are known, right? So depending on any agenda items that come up, there may be some that it may be appropriate for you to recuse yourself. So it's always good to be open and transparent with the board.
Okay. So our provincial appointees, if you're planning on running in the provincial election, you can let all of us know soon. I see Chris Babcock smiling and Jen smiling. So anyhow, any questions about that? Good. Okay. Deputy Chief, the manager's report.
Good morning, everyone. The manager's report for the activity of the police service for the month of March. During the month, we responded to 619 calls for service. On the 8th of March, the police service recognized International Women's Day. Constable Tompkins of our service was nominated for the Police Association of Ontario's Hero Award for his outstanding work in our community as our community services officer. An interesting incident of note: in the early hours of March 10th, patrol officers encountered two men on the premises of a local car dealership while patrolling the area. The men were found in possession of a stolen vehicle from out of town, along with break-in tools and license plates inside their vehicles. Both men were arrested and charged with several offenses and are before the courts. And our officers have interacted with other police agencies to share this information as these individuals do travel around from town to town and commit thefts from local car lots. Our uniform branch officers calls for service of note, 13 motor vehicle collisions, 18 domestic and family disturbances, 6 fraud investigations, 2 break and enter investigations, 19 thefts, 21 checks of compliance checks of people out in the community on judicial release. 1 weapons offense was investigated and 9 warrants were executed. Our uniform officers, an incident of note that they investigated, they were alerted by authorities of a parental abduction in the province of Quebec, and that the suspect parent and the children were here in Smiths Falls. The officers located the parent and the children were returned to their home in Quebec safely. The selective traffic enforcement target for March was offenses related to intersection safety, and as a result, 24 charges were laid. The step target for April will be offenses related to seat belts and passenger and driver safety. The criminal investigations branch is continuing their ongoing investigations into drug-related offenses and frauds, including 1 fraud in excess of $100,000. They also investigated a financing fraud at a local car dealership. A suspect was identified and arrested on a warrant in Halton region and was returned to our jurisdiction to face the courts. Our CIB officers also provided assistance to the OPP in the execution of a drug search warrant at an address in Smiths Falls. And as a result, 2 persons were arrested for offenses related to occurrences in the OPP jurisdiction. As well, items were recovered in the residence relating to break-ins and incidents of thefts in Smiths Falls, and charges followed. Drug investigation into a male trafficking of controlled substances resulted in his arrest, along with the seizure of oxycodone and methamphetamine. And as well, our CIB officers also assisted our uniform officers in locating and arresting persons on outstanding warrants. And community services, Constable Tompkins participated in his virtual meetings for the Situation Table, Crime Stoppers, Child Youth Advocacy Center Steering Committee, and the Youth at Risk Committee. He participated in several case conferences with local schools with regards to issues with worrisome student behavior. He conducted a visual presentation to students at Chimo School regarding being safe online. And as well, he participated in a virtual presentation to the parents of Chimo School on how to keep your kids safe online. He was also interviewed by Lake 88 and Your TV and provided his monthly updates on his activities and the upcoming activities of our police service. And he continued to maintain our social media awareness for police service activities. And that's the manager's report.
Thank you. Any questions for the chief? Okay, just carry on.
All right. The business quarterly report, again, to highlight the benchmark areas from our business plan. So for the first quarter of this year, January to March, there were 388 vehicle stops, 105 foot patrol hours were conducted. Because of the weather, of course, there was no bike patrol conducted. 24 and a half hours were spent in the schools by our officers. Now that the school visits have resumed in person. And there were 48 other community service related hours conducted by our members. And the total calls for service for the quarter were 1,832. The Health IM quarterly report for our Health IM intervention system. January to March, there were 73 calls, mental health related calls. There was an apprehension rate of 5% and a average wait time at the hospital of 1 hour. So those numbers have dropped for this first quarter. And that's the report.
Questions?
Just if I can just add on to that, it is obviously our mobile crisis response team here and part of Lanark County, certainly good work, and it's always nice when we see the apprehension percentages down as low as they are, and that really tells us that good referrals are being made. Our mobile crisis response team is working with the people in crisis within the community, and certainly assisting in not having to bring them to hospital emergency rooms when we do go. Obviously, the wait times, there can be spikes, but the times of getting these people in and to see a physician are relatively low, and our call volume in the first quarter has dropped substantially from years past.
Questions? Sean?
Yeah, and it's really encouraging to see those numbers. I'm wondering if maybe for our next meeting, a report could be prepared that would show the trends from this sort of the situation and the numbers prior to the Health IM coming in, and then what's happened as well with the mobile crisis response team impact, and just to see that the trend several years on how these two initiatives have made a big difference in the police service and how we're dealing with our citizens.
Yes, the only thing I caught, it's difficult prior to our Health IM, which was sort of came in online at the same time that we started in the early stages of our mobile crisis response. We also at that time was a different setup in how we tracked our mental health calls. So it's difficult to bring a comparison. Unfortunately, that's why we went with the Health IM system, is it helps provide us a better tracking system for our mental health related calls, the number of referrals that we make versus the people that are brought to hospital, and the time that our officers spend when they do get to the hospital. So we don't have a lot of that kind of data, isn't readily available from our records management system. It doesn't. It would be extremely time consuming to try to go into each individual call to see how long officers spent prior to Health IM in hospitals, or to determine apprehension rates at that time. We did have some the year before with regards to the early stages of Health IM where our apprehension rates were up over 30% and upwards of 33 to 35%. And we've seen a drastic reduction in that as we moved forward and developed our mobile crisis response. So although we don't have much before that, I can say that from the early stages of Health IM, our calls, the way we've tracked them, so our call volume has increased in that we've gotten out with our mobile crisis response to reach out to more people, and in turn made more referrals as opposed to apprehensions, and in turn reduced our times in hospitals.
Yeah, so even if it included just from the start of the Health IM, understand database has been built with every interaction, and even some subjective comments as to the actual impact. I think it's valuable for the community to know that the initiatives were taken, and the benefits of the police service, but also the benefits of individuals who the police are interacting with. Mm-hmm. So I think it'd be great to see some of those numbers and even some of the comments and details that may support that. Possible.
Okay. Anything else? Not hearing anything. Date and time of the next meeting, and we certainly have had a marathon today. Our short meeting of the past has come to an end.
Sorry, Karen, hard time hearing you.
Oh,
that's better now.
Okay, maybe because I have my head down looking at something. The chief and I had a consultation about our May meeting, because there are, as you know, quite a few things going on. And we were going to suggest Thursday, May the 19th at 8:30.
I will be away in the next week, and that's why it's moved up a little bit to the 19th. I won't be available on the 26th of May.
Okay.
That works for everyone? Thumbs up from everyone, sure, great.
They started at 10, but I'm okay for that. So 8:30 will be fine. Should be fine.
So we survived our new system so far today. None of us got left in the timeout room. So a motion to adjourn, please. Chris, thank you, everyone. Stay safe. Enjoy the